Okay, so why would we want to normalize our skin before we correct our skin? And what does that mean? So something we speak about a lot when it comes to long-term health of the skin is when we're born perfect. So what I want you to think about is your skin cells at birth are comprised of this: 90% of storage esters of vitamin A, majority. And then we've got 3% retinol, 3% retinaldehyde, and 3% retinolic acid. So that 90% actually they store in the skin at birth, but they get depleted by light, pollution. And when it comes to light, it's not just the sun, it's your screens, it's the blue light spectrum. So unless you're in a dark room, that is getting depleted. So that's why when I meet a new client, I'll often say we first need to fix the outer layers and then we need to normalize the skin. Normalize means bringing that vitamin A deficiency back into balance, which means we're no longer deficient. So that means once I have a nice antioxidant rich skin, I can then target treat whatever that might mean, from scarring to what have you. But often in that normalizing process, a lot of positive changes go down. So that's the good news. So keep that internal ratio in line. So if you're buying products and they aren't comprised of 90% storage esters, what are you doing? What are you spending your money on, your time on, your goals on? Because you can't reinvent the wheel. Doesn't matter how it's marketed to you. We know that our skin functions off this nutrition, and when it's depleted, all the problems start occurring. So vitamin A actually, it regulates the cell growth. So our skin is a living organ that's constantly growing and dividing from the inside out. So it regulates that. So the retinols including or influence like a cell proliferation, which means the rate the cells are dividing. So as we age, the division slows. So we don't want that to happen because we're going to start to see our problems not shifting either. So we need to speed up that cell division. It keeps us young. They also influence the immune system. So if we don't have our active skin's immune system functioning in the lower and upper dermal junctions of the skin, you're going to see when the DNA gets damaged from all these free radicals, the DNA is not getting deleted, it's staying there, and that becomes a big problem down the track. So that's where we're seeing people get into their 50s and even younger now, and they're getting a lot of skin cancers, and that's not good. We want to get that immune system healthy with vitamin A repair, so then you are deleting that damaged DNA and you're not holding on to it. So did you know that vitamin A is vital for normalizing the skin? Now, from what I've just told you, this is the question I want to think yourself, why? So if you think vitamin A is the fuel for the skin cells to maintain balance, or we call it in lifestyle medicine homeostasis. So that balance or fuel allows it to do all of its complicated jobs, and it's constantly working for you. But we first have to normalize the skin to repair that deficiency. Now, if we don't do that and we just start forcing the skin to try and fix problems, is that the skin is going to have this weakness where its intelligence isn't going to have the fuel to kind of support all those functions. So it might look pretty for a minute. It's kind of like renovating the outside of the house, but you've got a lot of problems at a foundational level and you don't want to invest in them. So you renovate the outside, but eventually you're going to get a big problem, and it'll be structural and it'll be expensive. So we want to always normalize the skin. Make sure the skin is absorbing the vitamin A as well as it just being applied. So our skin cells depend on its function correctly. So not only for the skins, but for the genes. So our genes are responsive to vitamin A. So that they actually have a fuel for them to heal themselves on so many levels. Now, some individuals are born with irregularities in their vitamin A metabolism. This is where it's complicated, and this is where you do need a professional to work with you. The skin cells have receptor sites on the walls, and they have receptor sites for the different receptor sites for the different forms of vitamin A. So if you will, an ester form will have a receptor site, a retinolic acid will have a receptor site, and so forth. So if you are not enjoying all the different spectrums of vitamin A being applied every day, and you're not shielding them correctly, you are going to get deficiency. And once you get those deficiencies, those receptor sites can go to sleep or dormant. And then when you start applying a high dose of vitamin A, the body doesn't really know what to do with it because it can't enter the cell. So it's sitting outside, and that's where we can get irritation. So that's where you need a professional to help guide you with that. And that just means programming. You'll save time and money, full stop. Then guessing. Guessing is expensive, and it's heartbreaking all the time because you don't get what you want. And you give up and you go back to like basic skincare, which can sometimes just hold you there, but the skin deficiency is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So one of our most common skincare concerns for both men and women is sun damage, which can have long-lasting harmful effects. And often what sun damage does, it depletes the vitamin A's, thus the normalization. So what do we do first? We correct the outer layers, then we normalize the skin, and then we can actually target key areas of concern and fix it. And this way we can enjoy the sun, it's a beautiful day today, and also enjoy beautiful, healthy skin. Have a wonderful day. Talk soon. Bye.